Hey ladies and gents, Pond here with another video for Rise of Empires, Ice and Fire. Today I'm going to be actually ranking all of the heroes in S1. So I've had a viewer request that I could rank the heroes from S1, S2, S3, S4, just so that kind of you guys know what to prioritize in each season. So this is just my opinion based on my knowledge of the game, my understanding. I'm sure people are going to disagree with me. That's absolutely fine. Like, feel free to put a comment if you feel like you would prioritize another hero or rank the heroes differently to how I do. But this is just my take on it, based on practical experience from using them and what I know from what other players use in the game. So when you reach S1, the developers actually released 9 heroes into the game, 9 S1 heroes. That is more than obviously the 6 that you get at S2, S3, S4. And the idea is, I think basically their idea was that you could fill each line in a legion. So you have a front row, a middle row, and back row. And there are 3 groups of 3 heroes who have similar types of skills, but there are some nuances to them. So let's get straight into it and look at who I consider to be the lowest ranked heroes. And there are actually 4 heroes in that group. So there's the Volunteer, Ebony Knight, Judge, and Bulwark. So from that group, basically, I would say Volunteer, Bulwark, and Judge are all kind of supposed to be, they're going to be front row or middle row heroes, but mainly, I think if you were to say to get all 9 S1 heroes, then you would certainly put Volunteer, Judge, and Bulwark on the middle rows, and you would put Ebony Knight on the front row. So let's just have a very quick look, for instance, at that group of heroes' skills. So skill 2, I'm not going to bother looking at skill 1. Their skill 3s and 4s all increase resistance to 50%, which is obviously an increase on the 30% that normal orange heroes give and the 35% that Rogue Demon Spear and Zorro give you. So there is an extra resistance buff for all S1 heroes there, and that stays the same throughout the game for all of the kind of seasoned heroes. But for instance, with Bulwark, her first skill, it's just purely a combat skill. It's got a 40% chance to do a reasonable amount of damage to one hero. No CC, no debuffing or buffing. Her 5th skill, 40% chance, again, to do a decent amount of damage. Friendly units receive buff of 50% bonus, Cavalry to Footmen countering. So all 3 of Bulwark, Volunteer, and Judge do this. Their 5th skill gives a buff to the troop type that they counter. So Cavalry counter Footmen, Footmen counter Archers, Archers counter Cavalry. So that will just be for the corresponding groups. The other thing with these ones are that, interestingly, they have a plus 20 speed on the combat speed. It gives you a tiny little increase, but I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one for me. The other thing is, for instance, with Bulwark, she gives a 20%. They give 20% resistance, which is okay. And then these 8 skills. So this is a prep skill at least on Bulwark, so that's good. When all squads in the heroes formation are cavalries. So for the other 2, it will just say Footmen or Archers. On the 5th turn, 2 random friendly squads receive 60% combat skill damage boost for 4 turns. So that, again, this is the same with the other 2. It's a 60% combat skill damage. Now, in S1, that's actually quite a considerable amount of extra damage to combat skills, but it's in the second half of the battle, and that's not great because really you want to be trying to maximize your damage at the start of the battle. The more troops you kill early on, the less damage they can do to you. So that's why it's not a great option. And then on their 7th skill, you get an extra 10% bonus might for all 3 squads in the Legion, compared to, again, I think with normal orange, it's just 30%, right? So let's just have a quick look at Heavens. Yeah, it's only 30%. Let's just quickly look at Ebony Knight. If I can find him, there he is. Ooh. Ebony Knight, he's just again, so that he has we're going to look at 3 more heroes, the front row heroes, which are Ebony Knight, the Cincinnatus, and Chungmugong. They have these buffs at the start of the battle. So for the first 4 turns, every turn, squad war with the leash soldiers will receive minus 50% damage, and also let 1 random squad have 70% chance of getting dodge status. So that's a nice bit of evasion there that we're seeing. So that's good. I mean, that's kind of like a tanky ability, because obviously if it activates on his squad, for instance, then at least he would dodge the damage, which is good. The bad thing is, obviously, it's not specifically for his squad, it's for any of the squads. Like, you might not really need the back row squad to be getting this dodge status at the start of the battle. So, and there's only a 33% chance that you're going to get it on the front row, which is where you really want it. So that's pretty weak. 5th skill, low chance combat skill, 30% chance to deal up to 549% damage to a random squad within effective range. Reduce the damage taken from Footmen by minus 30% for 2 turns. Yeah, I mean, Footmen are pretty weak at this stage in the game anyway, so I'd say it's okay, but it's not amazing. 30% chance is low. It's a combat skill. Later in the game, it can easily be CC'd. And then, yeah, his 3rd skill is this prep skill, which, as I say, has the increased combat damage. But this is for the start of the battle, so for the first turn for 4 turns. So you can effectively put, like, for instance, Ebony Knight and Bulwark in the same legion, and they'll be buffing your combat skill for the whole of the battle. So there's a nice kind of synergy there, I guess, but they're not doing a lot. Let's go on to the next hero. So I've kind of classed 2 heroes in this next group, but there's a reason I'm just looking at Chungmugong first. So Chungmugong, again, the skills aren't great. They're similar to, well, this is a combat skill actually, 100% chance. So it's guaranteed, but obviously it's combat skill, so it can be CC'd. Silence suppressed. To deal 136% damage to a random squad within the effective range. So it's not a great amount of damage, but at least it is guaranteed if he's not CC'd at least. And then this is interesting: absorb 15% damage attribute and add it to 1 random squad in my squad. So they're taking 15% damage out of the opponent and giving it to one of the squads in your legion. But 15% again for 1 turn is not a lot. The thing that kind of makes Chungmugong slightly, for me, in my eyes, rated higher than Ebony Knight, bearing in mind his front row, in my opinion, is this here, his 6th skill. He gives 15% extra HP. HP is absolutely key in the game. The more health HP you have, the more damage you can take. So for a front row, that's really, really key. 5th skill is just this countering ability that we saw in Bulwark, and the 6th skill is the additional combat skill from the first 4 turns. So Chungmugong, he gives an extra 15% HP. That's why I think he's rated slightly higher. Cincinnatus, he's up next. Again, the 3rd of the front row heroes. Very similar skills, as I've said, to Ebony and to Chungmugong. He's got the extra 15% on his 6th skill as well, which is why I rate him slightly higher. He's got 15% might and resistance. So I think he does work really well on the front row because of that, and he also has extra resistance. Now, he's the only hero out of all of the S1 heroes who has 2 of his skills which are prep skills. So just his 5th skill is a combat skill. His skill 2 and his skill 8 are both prep skills. So why is that beneficial? Well, prep skills are basically harder to crowd control, so he can't be silenced as opposed to the others. So this is a prep skill. So each squad of our legion will be in dodge status in the first attack. For the first 4 turns, every turn has 70% chance to obtain minus 40% skill damage for enemy troops. So he's guaranteeing that you avoid damage in the first turn. I think, that's a really nice buff. What if your legion goes first, does damage, avoids all the damage, from the opponent and then does damage again, you're basically 2 turns ahead before your opponent can even hit you. And as I say, this is a pre-battle prep skill, so it's really nice. And his 8th skill, again, Liberty or Death prep skill. When the hero is in a formation with the 3 squads of archers starting at the first turn, 2 random squads will increase 60% combat skill damage. So that's why I really like Cincinnatus. Then we've just got the last 3 heroes, so I'm going to unlock these all at the same time. So this is Lionheart, Iron Hand, and the Pacer. Now, these guys all have a similar set of skills. Again, they're all back row heroes primarily, and if you did have all 9 S1 heroes, then you definitely would want them on your back rows. Let's just have a look at Lionheart first. And so his 2nd skill is going to target 1 random enemy squad. It's got only a 30% chance, but it does really big damage, 673%, to a single enemy, causing weakened effects, so minus 20% damage for 1 turn. So that whichever squad it targets, it's just basically if they attack you, they'll do 20% less damage. So it's an interesting debuff to the opponent. His 5th skill is the only skill out of this group of 3 which targets 3 enemy random, all 3 of the enemy squads. But there is a good reason for that when we see the next 2's abilities. So it's 30% chance, so it's low chance again, but it will do 256.5% damage. Don't know why they had to do the 0.5%. To all 3 enemy squads, so that's about 770% damage. So that's pretty high, at least if you consider S1 stages of the game as well. So that's pretty good. But all these skills are combat skills. So and then his 8th skill only targets 2 random enemy squads. The other 2, both of their 8th skills target 3. It only does 427% damage. So that's 854% total. But it does have a 50% chance. So that's going to probably get off 4 times in the battle, hopefully. So he's got a reasonable set of skills. Now, the key thing with these 3, which is why they're rated higher in my opinion, is this 7th skill. They are the only heroes in this game to have this active type of 7th skill. So basically, when it's not active, it will give you 30% extra might for all of the squads in your legion. And so that is 10% less than what you get from the other 6 S1 heroes or any other S hero. But the boost they give, so you have to manually activate this skill before you go into a battle. When you do, it will last for 20 minutes and it gives you 100% bonus marching speed, 100% bonus might, depending on which of the 3 heroes it is. So there are 2 key elements to this, right? 100% might this early in the game is is a huge buff. It's giving you, so if the other heroes are only doing 40%, this is doing 100% might. That's 60% extra on top. So that is quite an overpowering buff to your combat abilities, to your damage. Now the downside is it only lasts for 20 minutes and it does have a 15-hour cooldown, but at least you could use this. 20 minutes is long enough for it to make a difference in, say, a Reign of Chaos battle, or just you could activate it just before you start Throne Battle or KE at the weekend, right? And now the other interesting thing to think about with this bonus marching speed. So for those of you that are watching this that are in Eden, which is effectively season 4 onwards, you'll know that on the Eden map, you can't use speed ups for your troops marching. It's just a flat marching rate. And say if you're, quite often you can be in tile wars where you're trying to take your opponent's territory. This is the only way, on top of, say, obviously gear, and the other kind of small buffs that you get from taking structures. This is going to give you the biggest margin for marching speed. So whether it's, say, you've got a cavalry legion with Lionheart, if you activate this, it will give you that marching speed bonus. If you're trying to get to a specific tile before your opponent, this could be the difference. Say if you're using a Footmen legion to attack a structure and you need them to attack as quickly as possible because your banner only lasts for 30 minutes, activate this, put out Iron Hand on your Footmen legion, activate this buffer, it's going to give them a big bonus on their marching speed for hitting that structure coming back again. So this is why, and like many people, I have Lionheart and Iron Hand, and I still use them regularly in my account, particularly on Eden. So that's why they are, I think, in terms of longevity, these three heroes are definitely rated higher. Now, just out of the top three, for me, Iron Hand is slightly better than Lionheart, and the reason for that is this 5th skill on Iron Hand. It only targets one random enemy squad, but so it's 30% chance for 503% damage to one enemy squad within range, and suppress them, unable to move for 1 turn. So suppression is the best form of CC. It will stop your opponent's troops basic attacking. It will stop the hero's skills, hero skills activating for combat skills. And obviously, if they had any passive skills, then because the troops are suppressed as well, they're not taking any action, then the passive skills wouldn't work either. So particularly at S1, the fact that you've got a hero that can suppress is really, really useful. So Iron Hand, he has that as well as this 7th skill, this active 7th skill. Pacer. For me, the Pacer is the best of the S1 heroes. He's an archer's hero. His 2nd skill does 40% chance to deal 558% damage to one enemy squad, which is a really nice amount of damage. His 5th skill, again, only targets one random enemy squad, but it's 566.5% damage, only 30% chance again. But this skill also will suppress them for 2 turns. So this, again, at S1 stage, if you have, say if this targets your opponent's back row and you suppress them for a quarter of the battle, at these earlier stages of the game where CC is less prevalent in battles, that could be the difference. Just on that one, if this skill gets off once in the battle, it could make the difference. So, and then if you look at Pacer's 8th skill, it's kind of similar to things like Heaven's Justice's 8th skill, where it only activates on 3 turns. So it's 45% chance to deal 486% damage to 3 random enemy squads. So that's nearly 1500% damage. 45% chance, so it's probably going to get off once or twice in the battle, as obviously it's only going to you've only got the chance of it activating on 3 turns, but just he's probably got the best balance, I think. And when you consider you're giving archers another 100 might as well, potentially if you activate that, then and you've got Pacer up against other S1 legions, then at that stage of the game, archers are the strongest. So Pacer can blow people out of the water. He can just kill so many with that might boost and the skills that he has, and he can CC them with that suppression on his 5th skill. And that's, for me, why he is the best of the S1 heroes. So there we go, guys. That is my ranking on S1 heroes. I'll be really interested to hear what you guys think and how you find them in the game. And so please do pop your comments down below. If you like the video, then why not click on that like? And if this is one of the first videos you've seen on my channel, why not subscribe and ring that bell so you can get notifications whenever I'm dropping videos on the channel, which is daily. And if you could please share my channel in your alliance chat, province chat, guilds chats for those of you in Eden, and through line, WhatsApp, Viber, Discord, whatever you use to communicate with your fellow players in the game, that would be absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for watching. I'll have the S2 video coming as quickly as I can get it done, and I'll see you soon.